Welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League, The Great British Baking Show, Holidays, The Great Christmas Baking Show, 2023, Part 2, parentheses, 2024. I'm your host and commissioner, Mike Gablon, back in the studio with my co-hosts Sierra Kato and Ife Wadiwe.
Yeah.
What a fucking mouthful. I am so sick of trying to track the difference between British series, American season, and what, because they're a year behind and it's a different show and there's these subtitles.
Are you saying that we should have never broke from them?
What's the opposite?
Wrong?
Yeah, what's the opposite of a secessionist?
Yeah, I was trying to think of it. I don't know.
I'm a Remainer with
loyalist?
the UK. Yeah, I'm a loyalist.
Yeah. You want a loyal.
Oh man, yeah. It does bug me because there's a simple fix, and I'm sure it is paperwork dumbness.
Yeah,
where it's like, well, we want this one for all Christmas. You can get the leftovers unless you want to pay the money, Netflix.
You lost me so hard.
Just like giving us last year's?
Oh, yeah.
I see. Okay.
Well, so when does it, so this current season that they're going to release in the UK, has it already come out? Or
I have to assume yes.
Okay, yeah, because they're priming
if we have any British
holidays.
listeners, they're listening to this like, yeah, why are you talking about last year's shows?
Yeah.
Annoying. Yeah, just give it to us.
Hey, if you are a British listener, here's something I want your insight on.
How good were our accents?
Between last week and this week, here's what we found out. We know where Dylan works now.
Oh, yeah, right.
Dylan works at a restaurant called The Five Fields, which is in London. So if you are in London, or you're going there on holiday this season, you gotta go. You gotta say hi. You gotta let us know. You gotta ask him what dishes he prepared, then order that dish, then let us know how that dish is.
Ooh.
I'm sure he's a fantastic cook.
Oh, yeah.
I bet they're going to get an influx of tourism.
Oh, that's why they posted it on
good,
social.
I should say we didn't do any deep dive detective work.
Yeah.
The Five Fields posted, congrats to our very own Dylan for making it to the finale.
Right. Did
They
they
knew what they were
collab
doing.
with Dylan's 100 and 200,000 follower Instagram?
Yeah,
I
honestly,
hope.
yeah. No, but so that the mystery solved because we had that question at the end of the regular season. Now we know it's the Five Fields. Please let us know how it is if you're available to go.
These are 5 fields. That's an insider baseball show.
It had the cadence of something where I'm like, I don't know what it is a reference to, but I know it is.
And then it
Sounds
unlocked
cool.
your sleeper cell. Cake.
I know
burger.
Kung Fu. I'll also take this opportunity to remind you that we have merch at maxfunstore.com. You can get a shirt that says Cake Dom or an apron. It would make a great gift for the kinky baker in your life. So I would say order that now. By the time you're listening to this, I think it might still make it to you in time for Christmas or Hanukkah. Hanukkah goes till like January 2nd this year, right?
Yeah, it's a long
Yeah, so you got time. Order it now. And also, if you like our show, you can go to MaximumFun.org/join and support us directly for as little as $5 a month. Okay, to recap, last week in part 1, Ife, you gained a half a point because Amelia had shaky hands.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get any other points up on the board.
Come on.
Part 2, let's start with the technical challenge for the Christmas episode, which was to make a cinnamon snowflake bread, which looked so fucking good.
It's just each little twist ready for the taking. Like
Each little twist.
Very ergonomically pleasing.
Yeah, I'm anchored on the word twist because some of the bakers here did not do a twist, and I'm like,
Sure.
the word is twist.
Yeah. You
It's
want
in the word.
Yeah,
It's in the word.
And granted, they were like, this is going to be, like Paul said, like, man, if they pull this off without the picture, it's going to be a miracle. And I'm like, that's pretty mean to set a bar that high.
Yeah.
But the instructions were like, okay, twist. And some people were like, braid, swirl. And I'm like, you guys?
Sure.
There's only one thing a twist could be.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, okay. Everyone's did look different. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm reading through my own notes to be like, what's worth saying here? All right, let's just dive right in. In order from worst to first. In last place was my girl, Carol. So the first instruction was like, put the biscuit cutter in the middle. And it meant as a guide, but she's like, that means cut it out, right?
Yeah.
And she punched a big old hole right in the middle.
Really,
Popped
went
it out.
into it, too.
Yeah. And then tried to put the dough back in as if that was going to fix it. It wasn't going to fix it. She was the one, she did like a swirly braid thing instead of twisting. And I was like, Carol, come on. She said, it looks like a spider. I should put 2 eyes on it.
Yeah.
They said the bread was good, but it was untidy. It was the worst of a good bunch because the shaping was all over the place. She didn't understand the instructions, but it was good. And then very sadly, after the challenge, she said, "Why change the habit of a lifetime? I always come in last." And that
Damn.
really kind of broke my heart.
Like, it felt like she should have said that while smoking a cigarette. Damn.
Oh.
And for the record, Carol is on your team, just as
Yeah, I know.
I think I'd rub it in. I mean, I do think yeah, I just can picture,
I will-
just watching her first season always coming in last.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Poor
I will say I needed that because I was like, I don't remember which old lady I got. I know that
Yeah.
Oh,
Sierra
right.
chose men only.
Yes,
that's
that's
one
an
thing
easy
I
one to
remember.
remember.
Yeah,
You and me,
yeah.
we kind of traded back and forth on old
Yeah,
ladies.
yeah. We
Right.
couldn't.
She's the one with the cool hair.
Yeah, cool hair,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
didn't change over the last couple of years. It was the same color and style as it was when she was
Amazing.
on the show originally.
Which means that's a lot of upkeep, especially like with the multicolors that she has.
Yeah.
That's like an active choice you're making.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's intentional because usually when you see someone with like crazy colored hair, it implies they change it all the time.
Yeah.
And when I see Carol with the same hair several years later, what that means is she picked that years ago and was like, "That's my new hair now."
Yeah.
Yes. Decided the one that she was televised with is the one.
Yeah. That's her character now. She's locked in. It's like Drew Carey wearing glasses as a character, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
now he has to wear glasses.
Yeah. Look, if it ain't broke, don't twist it.
That's why we pay you the $1/3. In fifth place was George. Not a lot. He didn't get a lot of airtime in this technical challenge. The only thing I wrote was he was like, I feel like Jane Fonda and Twist. That was it. That was his only moment. This whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they cut it down. They're like, that wasn't a good enough joke.
Yeah.
We got
Well,
She
George
can
had a
fit
lot
that
of
in.
other moments.
Sure.
We talked about this in it last week, but Val has a big problem with George because all of his airtime was just sort of like complaining.
He's putting on some kind of persona of being
Yeah. Hapless.
Oh, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on here?
Which he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
he has some mess ups, but yeah, he pulls it off. We'll talk.
He pulls it
about
off.
We'll talk
Yeah. He pulls it off. Not this time. He came in fifth this time. They said it was a little small. It did look uniform, but it was too heavy on the cinnamon because it was so small.
Yeah.
In fourth place was Linda. Also not a lot of airtime, but they said it was good. It was dry and overbaked, so it needed less time in the oven. Okay, here we go with the points. In third place, getting another half point for you, Iffy, is Amelia,
Yeah.
who was not excited for this.
Yeah.
As soon as the challenge started, she said, I was hoping for not bread.
Yeah.
And here we are baking bread.
Yeah, I know that really has to suck doing a show like this where you're like, I know I crush at kegs. I know I'm pretty good with, a tart. Bread sucks. Hopefully we don't do bread. And they're like, we do
There it
bread.
is.
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you get one chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could not write. That's real like movie dramatic stakes. Just like,
Yeah.
please not this, and it's that. Her advice on the twists was, when it looks like a vagina, you've done it right. To which Dan replies, I've never seen a vagina, sorry.
It was good. It was a good
Yeah,
one
yeah.
too. Right
Good pitter
there.
patter there.
Got
Yeah.
him good, but yeah, she was right.
We
That's
talked
what-
about. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying they should put that in the instructions.
Twist until it looks like a vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what happens.
That's I don't want those two words in the same sentence. That's weird.
Look.
If you don't want a good cinnamon twist, then
Yeah.
don't put vagina in the instructions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to let that linger there
yeah.
for you as a Sierra quote. Amelia said she had nervous belly, not hand shaking, so no points awarded there. And they did say that her bake was not consistent, but it was a nice color and the texture was right. It was just the shape that was off. In second place, getting 1 point, was Dan, who at the beginning remarked, it's bread, and I can make bread. The question is, can I make bread in the tent? Which speaks to what we were talking about last week, which is like, I think a lot of it is just sort of like excitement jitters.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I know I can bake all day, but being back here in front of the judges again on TV,
Yeah, people are watching you, so you're like hyper fixated on these little details that maybe you skip one or you
Yeah.
add too much, you forget one. And then also I wonder if it's like, is he talking about like the environment, like the temperature and stuff, like how bread is so
Oh.
sensitive? Like I feel like there's,
Yeah.
what if I didn't let it, does it rise? 'Cause
Right.
it chose
Yeah.
today not to rise.
yeah.
Fickle.
Yeah. Then you got Noel walking around like a cryptid, just hanging around, giving
Right,
you little
getting in your
jokes.
business.
Doing bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said that Dan had a good flavor and a good bake. But in first place, with 1.5 points, was Sophie, the reigning champion.
Yeah.
Her little edit this time was that she's single. It's just her and the cats. And Allison tried to set her up with the cameraman. which I
Yeah.
thought was a nice, fun
Oh.
touch.
Wait, does that mean she wasn't before, or
No, I think just as a way of like chit chat.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah,
like, "Who do you
okay,
have for the
right.
holidays?" And she was like, "Well, no, it's just me and the cats." And Allison was like, "We got to set you up."
Oh,
Yeah, because then wasn't Dan first, and she was like, he's married with a husband.
Yeah, gay, married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
Damien Eggs.
Damien
And
Eggs.
Damien Eggs is right there.
Yeah,
Look, if you're going to take anyone's last name,
yeah,
Yeah, why not become an eggs?
yeah.
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
why not become an Eggs?
Yeah.
That's our T-shirt for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Her bake was beautiful and accurate, and nice color, and the flavor was there. It was a nice loaf, a lovely loaf.
Yeah. Oh, just slight tangent.
Yeah.
Because we talked about on the pod how someone on Blue Sky was mentioning that eggs is a pretty common
Right, yeah.
name. And then we talked about scones.
Scuns. Yeah.
And someone I sent
it the
to
same
group
person?
chat.
I didn't
it
even
might
look.
have been. I
Okay.
I have ADHD. Once I've done reading, you're gone.
You have no object permanence.
Yeah, not at
You're
all.
gone.
If you're out, Peekaboo works really well with
Oh,
Iffy.
yeah. Whoa! Like I would never be able to find Clark Kent. But yeah, no. They said that it was like a northern versus southern thing. I don't think I can officially confirm that since a big fight of British people started in the comments. I love that
Oh,
where they
wow.
were like, and it's like, and it was posh versus like down to earth. It was a whole thing. It was very fun to watch. So shout out to
Interesting.
y'all.
Wow.
Please start more beefs on my page. Some
More
British-
mini civil wars in the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah. They don't call them beefs out there. They call them bangers.
I hope that catches on. I hope a British rapper's like, I got a banger here.
Yeah.
And they're like, you mean a hit? And he's like,
Oh.
no.
1, 2, 3. Got a banger with Stormzy.
Whoa! That's a good
Okay.
Stormzy.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great Stormzy.
That was good. Yeah.
Was it Allison was in a Stormzy video, right? Or am I thinking of a
They-
different rapper?
They did. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
they
You've
bragged
seen
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
love
when we were doing
sketches.
our research, we found Allison got popular from Big Brother.
Oh.
That's right.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought, she was just like a comedic personality.
No, she is one of the rare people to cross over from reality star into just like, we like you.
Yeah.
It's like her and Karamo. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And The Miz.
The Miz. That's right. I
Yeah.
forget about that one.
Yeah, it's really great because that was his literal whole arc of in real world was that he wanted to be a wrestler.
Right. And
now
then he
he's
did it.
Yeah. And now we're like, okay, whatever. And he's
Yeah.
like the annoying guy in wrestling, so it's even funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. Let's move on to the Showstopper Challenge. The Showstopper Challenge was to make a celebration cake inspired by the bake or the week that has haunted you from your time on the show.
Yes.
A Ghost of Christmas Past challenge, if you will. A redemption bake challenge, if you will. Okay. Cruel or no? That's my question.
I mean, to me, we've done enough seasons of this show to know that was, definitely from a viewer, we're like, oh, this seems like cruel. But I think from a competitor, based on MasterChef, Top Chef, the mistake they keep making,
Sure.
definitely a come your skeleton out moment for them. Because they're like, finally, we always never get the chance to
Right,
redeem
right.
ourselves.
Okay.
We're getting the
They love
chance to.
I guess it feels like redemption is something you can do any week. Regardless of what the challenge is, you can be like, well, I've messed up this before, so I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel the same way about whenever a challenge is like, cook your signature dish. What's like your story on a plate? And I'm like, you could do that on any challenge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
like
is true.
specific. Yeah, I mean, I think what I was thinking watching this, and then they're coming back, right? And they did, a lot of them got eliminated, minus Sophie, but it's like, she could have even had one. But I do think it just lingers in your head so much. Everybody always has that thing that was like their most embarrassing moment or whatever that they keep coming
Yeah,
back to.
yeah.
And like everyone's forgotten about it. But then to get to even if you come back and win this holiday bake-off,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's not as good as coming back and doing the exact thing and then replacing that memory.
That's
And then
true.
you just never have to revisit it in your mind again and
Yeah,
cringe,
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do.
It's like therapy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really is. It's like, honestly, it's maybe worth doing it. Because even if you fail again, I don't think it's like twice as bad. It's like embarrassing or whatever, but you're
Yeah.
like, well, I did the thing again. But if you can replace it, I think that's like worth so much of your time and stress, and like it'll just kind of like add 5 years to the end of your life.
Wow.
Not to be dramatic.
That really turned into like a bogus medical claim at the end, or just like if you bake the same thing again but better, you actually extend your life.
Right,
you can smoke a few cigarettes. It bounces
this is
out.
medical advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call the number below. But yeah, it is really, I think, after kind of doing that in my mind, I was like, you know what? I think I'm all about redemption now. Like,
Yeah.
you do really, I think, you do it for you. It's the most do it for you kind of like choice to make.
Yeah, you do have to already sort of be in a certain emotional state to even approach that. Because if I think about like I fucked up a banana bread so badly one time that if I think about right now the notion of tackling banana bread again, I'm still like too traumatized. I'm like, there's simply no way. It's gonna be gooey in the middle. No.
Yeah. Oh,
So to even be in a place where you're like, I'm gonna do it again, and I know I can do it better is like,
Yeah. And that's why they signed up to come back on, because they could have easily said no. I'm sure a lot of people did.
Or they needed the money.
Do they even get paid that much? I mean, yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, we
They-
were
and the
speculating on
followers.
this last week, next week. We're recording these out of order. It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Who knows?
But it's like in Sophie's case, I'm like, I'm sure she's probably, it's like a half and half. I'm doing this to prove to myself I can still bake, and also half and half. I want people to know I still bake. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
she's been
still
quiet the last
here.
couple of years.
Yeah, interesting. Right, and she was, yeah. So I think, yeah, it's a little bit of that, but also, I don't know. Do they get paid a lot?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think in general, reality TV or
like zero.
competition contestants don't get paid that much.
Right, and then the UK, like, hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even
Or hell yeah. I'm like, yeah, hell no. But then I'm like, well, it's not like America pays their reality
Yeah.
stars a ton. Maybe in other countries, they're like, no, they're unionized. They actually get a minimum amount.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, because I know like UK actual scripted TV stuff, like they don't get that much.
Oh, right. That's
but,
true.
But
yeah.
a lot of it is
It's
like
all, like,
government funded.
public, yeah.
Yeah.
I know someone who works in that stuff, so I'll do some research.
Yeah.
and
Get back to
bring
us.
it back to the
Do
pod.
some digging. We love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that I think this challenge had a big trend of the cake looking like dog shit while they were cooking it.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
suddenly at the end, it's like, bam, it looks amazing. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Icing doing a lot of heavy lifting this episode.
I mean, George's
George's cake looked awful.
Yeah.
he was like pawing at it, and it's just like around the.
He gave the vibes of like, the Office bit where Kevin spills the chili.
Yes,
It's my
yes.
favorite thing
It's so
ever.
good.
So good.
Yeah,
It's such perfect physical comedy.
Yeah. And just with the voiceover over it, it's just
Oh,
like
I
the
know.
great
Yeah, yeah.
pairing of
So
like
sad.
the acting performance of being so proud
Yes.
and just watching it just get worse and worse.
Yeah.
around Thanksgiving this year, like, well, actually, no, more recent than that. Dylan made a really good gumbo.
We're talking about your husband, Dylan.
Oh yeah, husband Dylan made a good gumbo. Yeah, at Five Fields. No, my husband made a good gumbo, and he always makes gumbo, but it takes him like 8 hours.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's really like as he was carrying it to the car, I was like picturing that in my head, like the chili.
Yeah.
And then you roast it. You make the
Yeah.
roux for 2 hours. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
careful.
I don't mean to touch a nerve here. Am I mistaken? Your husband, Dylan, is a white man with ties from in the UK?
In the spirit of the holiday season, I was not going to bring it up. As
I
someone
gotta
with
investigate
family-
at least
yeah,
a little
as-
bit.
with
Why
someone
he making gumbo?
As family in New Orleans, I was like, I got to taste that gumbo. I got to go to gumbo taste.
Yeah. No,
Put it
fair
in my
enough.
mouth.
And is
I
it
believe
like
it, I believe- he grew up
nouveau gumbo with like chickpeas or something stupid?
Yeah. Is it gumbo or is it
It's-
gumbo?
It is gumbo. He did go. He grew up in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh,
But
okay.
he did live in London for high school.
That's right. Okay. All right.
So
Tennessee
yeah.
is
I mean,
landlocked, right? Because the big
there's
thing
there's
about
the
gumbo.
Mississippi River. There's the Mississippi River. But yeah, no, I don't think that they're.
How's his fried chicken?
This didn't come from a Memphis. As well. I mean, it does a little. I suppose. There's a river.
I just I swear to God, I'm gonna bring this up every week. I'm still watching Culinary Class Wars.
The thing about it isn't
Wait,
that
I
you're bringing
gotta
it up.
actually watch it now.
Yeah, the thing about it isn't that you're bringing it up. The thing about it is that it's still not over. Like
It's-
you've been
it's-
watching it for so long.
we watch it in such small increments.
Okay.
I've been watching season 2 of Physical 100 for like a year.
Well, all
I watch
that
it like
pausing
9
you
minutes
do.
at a time. Yeah.
There's just 100
Yeah,
episodes.
you pause and flex at the TV like I do too, right? Let's go.
Chef Edley, who we know as an American, Top Chef and Master Chef and Iron Chef and all that stuff, is a competitor on Culinary Class Wars. And they did a challenge that I think could stand on its own, just as a whole TV show. They did a challenge called Infinite Cooking Hell, where they did 30-minute rounds. You had the same ingredient the whole day. And it's like you get 30 minutes to cook a dish, and then the person with the worst dish is eliminated, and then the clock starts over again. You get another 30 minutes, and you got to make another dish with the same ingredient.
Oh my God.
And the ingredient was tofu, and so you just saw like 30 different preparations of tofu over the course of like several hours. I'm also like, I would not want to judge that. Eating 30 bites of anything, I'm like, gross. No way. Thank you.
That is something that I want, like, and to kind of karmically balance it out.
Yeah.
Do it for charity or something.
Yeah.
But I'd love like a Food Network that's like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
30-minute increments.
Yeah.
Who's going to outlast?
And by the, like, because they were eliminating 7 people. So by, like, hour 3, the people who were left were just fucking destroyed. They're like,
Yeah.
I can't. Because it's not like you're just executing. Because a line cook can work for, like, 6 hours. You know what I mean? But if you're, like, executive chefing, if you're like, I need to invent a new dish and it needs to be excellent, it's like, that's a huge mental toll, too. Anyway, I bring this up because Ed Lee, who lives in Kentucky, did Kentucky Fried Tofu. Like he like cooked chicken and used the chicken fat to like base tofu that he cut into the shape of chicken. And that was like his 6th dish. That was like when he was out of ideas. And I'm like, what a fucking G, dude.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Anyway. All right, where are we? Okay, the Showstopper Challenge. Dan made a Pearfully Does It with spiced pear cake, chocolate, beurre noisette, and little pear-shaped macarons on top. His redemption was for his Spice Week, where his cake leaned so badly. They did the flashback.
Yeah.
His cake was slipping. It was leaning tower pizza. It looked bad.
You're doing that young Dro shoulder lean.
And yeah,
You remember that, right, Sierra?
that's a cut from like when we were in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
True.
think so. But I
Go
also
lean
don't
and
know
make
a
many
shoulder
things,
lean.
so-
Shoulder lean. Y'all can't see this at home, but Val is shoulder leaning at high speeds.
Okay, so they showed his cake leaning from last time, and this time they were like, "Are you going to use dowels?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Dude, why, bro? Help me, help you. Use dowels. Why are you freeforming this?"
Because,
He didn't
like
think
Sierra
about it.
said, it's
He's
all
trying
about
to,
him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
trying to he's like, I know there's another way to do it. Maybe
Yep.
he's been told too many times. You should
Yeah.
use dowels. He's like, no.
Yeah, because that's the way that works.
no.
That's literally why it exists.
He's digging
Yeah.
his heels in the ground.
I couldn't wrap my head around it. And he was also, as he was assembling it, he was like, there was literally an edit where he was like, okay, this one slants like this, so I'm gonna put the other cake on like that. I'm like, why are you like sideways Jenga-ing your cake? Put a fucking dowel in it.
Horrifying.
He's like, now I'm going to make it work. I understand it now.
And yet, this is what I was saying up top. And yet, it turned out gorgeous. They literally said it looks great. The decoration is lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, look, fuck me. What do I know? But the process was so frustrating to me.
Oh, yeah.
It was good. Yeah, good story, I suppose.
Great story.
You know, I'm
he
like,
he
oh.
redeemed himself in terms of
Maybe
redemption. They were
yeah.
like, you've definitely redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
They said his sponge was delicious and his macarons were well done.
Ooh,
So great job, Dan.
shout out to you.
Carol made her Oh Christmas Tree, which was plum ginger with little macaron ornaments and gingerbread men. Also looked gorgeous.
Yes.
The cutest little Christmas tree you ever did see. There was a shot of her weighing a mountain of butter. Did you guys catch that?
No.
There was just a really quick shot of her. It was a scale, and it was, I swear to God, like 8 sticks of butter. And I was like, is that how much butter is supposed to go into a cake? That feels like too much butter.
No, maybe. I mean, they're making a big cake. I kind of am like,
Yeah.
sometimes the butter, I put in some stuff. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
That's
Look,
a lot.
I'm not going to complain, but I am just like,
whoa.
yeah.
I mean, okay, here's the weird thing that I noticed this episode, and I think it was with this cake, but I can't remember. Some of the illustrations, you know, when they're
Yes.
like, and then it'll be this, and,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they do the slice.
Yeah.
Like, the slice in there looks really like, I mean, I get that it's a drawing, but
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
like, I think that it needs to be repositioned. Like, you know, it's like an optical
Yeah.
illusion. Like,
They
it's like you're
Photoshopped,
cutting
like,
into
selected
this.
and then dragged it out just like a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, I think that if you cut it like that, that means that's all frosting or something. I don't know. It's all
Yeah,
very
yeah.
it's like kind of wonky
MC Escher.
Yeah.
We
perspective.
brought this up
Oh, right.
last week. I think the regular illustration guy was like
So-
off this week.
When you were saying that, I was wondering, I wonder if that's why I noticed it, because you'd think I would notice it in the past ones. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
unless there's weird shapes this time. But I'm like, maybe it's just slightly.
I think they let like the apprentice illustrator
Sure.
give it a whirl.
Yeah, yeah. Promote the assistant. I'm all for it.
Sure, but not before they're ready.
But have like a vanishing point and do a perspective.
Yeah. Do the lines going
Do your
out
thing.
into
Yeah,
infinity.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
all seen it. We all took drawing 101.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to do that.
Okay, Carol is redeeming her failed steamed plum pudding, and the macarons and gingerbread were a nod to Biscuit Week. Unfortunately, she overcooked the egg whites for her macarons. No visible starting over, so no points for starting over there. She just doubled down on her overcooked egg whites. This was another one where she was putting it on the dowel, and the cake was breaking as. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my god.
Painful to watch. But again, they said it looks absolutely sensational. The ginger works beautifully. They get the tartness from the plum. It's like a ginger cake. The macarons, not as domed as they should be, but they do taste good. So, not all bad. Sophie made her Christmas candle centerpiece. Looked like a big candle. It was so cute. I love
Yeah.
this. I love the idea of just like a big-ass candle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Chocolate, hazelnut, and spiced pear bread down at the bottom, and then a honey cake with a white chocolate ganache. This was a redemption for Bread Week, where everything was underbaked last time. She had a wet loaf. This time she overcompensated. It came out dry and overbaked. A little burnt.
Yeah, too far.
Yeah, that was a huge bummer. Because she is the reigning champ, and she,
Right. I thought, oh, looks pretty like
Dark.
she could lose this.
Yeah. Okay, so that was for the bread portion. For the cake portion, she was like, each of these layers needs to be baked individually. And then when she had just like a counter full of like pancakes, I was like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
genuinely impressive.
And that's when they tasted, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah. Noel or Allison tasted it and was like, oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I want some sponge.
Ooh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yummy.
They called it impressive to look at, but the bread was burnt. The cake flavor was amazing. Delicious, really good. So good. Okay, George, we kind of touched on it, but made his roll on Christmas. Ginger cake and spiced apple cake, chocolate and caramel on the outside. Redeeming his mini rolls from week 1. Even in the flashback, they showed him, it was again like Kevin in the Chili.
No, yes, Sam, yeah.
They were like
that
melty.
reminiscent.
They said it was
Yeah.
like pudding and not cake. It was so...
Yeah.
Oh.
He was this was the bit where he was sweating and stressed out, and Allison had powder in her bra, which I feel like maybe she had that set up for
Oh,
the
yeah.
bit, but then I'm like, I kind of want to believe she just has powder in her bra
Oh,
at all times.
Oh man, yeah. Give me the titty powder. Like I want it. I need it. Allison.
That's what a
my
good
face is
presenter.
wet.
Allison, if you're looking for like a product endorsement deal
Yeah.
and you need a name for your product, titty powder is right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right there.
George's buttercream looked soupy. He put it in the fridge. It didn't have time to cool, so he put it on the hot cakes. The whole thing's slipping and sliding and melting. I want to bring up that Allison was kind of picking on him, which I would have done too. To be clear,
I mean,
the
he
opportunity was right there.
It was just, yeah. It was like, there's nothing you could say to.
It was the
Make it
least supportive I've
worse.
ever seen Allison be.
Yeah.
For the person who's always given pep talks and picking people back up,
Like, not this time.
I think, yeah, they're like, this is the Christmas one. Like, we can just.
Yeah,
who
we-
I
cares?
get. Regardless, I mean, it almost makes it worse that it's at Christmas and she's like openly laughing at a contestant. You know,
Yeah, it was
You're
just
doomed.
like a slop cake.
is that a thing?
No,
Or
I don't
okay,
know.
I didn't know if you were like referencing like
Oh, specific.
you know in the 50s
maybe.
America used to make slop cakes.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looked bad, and George gave the classic. This never happens to me at home.
Yes.
There it is. There's our George.
Okay, George. I'm gonna make a ruling. He pivoted to buttercream, so he started with an Italian meringue, and he's like, I'm gonna make buttercream instead. In the Christmas spirit, I'll give him a half point for starting over anyway. Who cares?
Okay.
It doesn't affect things. And again, at the end, his cake looked amazing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had fucking Christmas lights on it, like twinkling lights. And I was like, you really, really did it.
Yeah.
Because I did not have faith in you up until the last 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They said it looked good and it tasted good. Certainly a showstopper. This is where, okay, we talked about this. They called him the Flavor King.
Yeah, apparently he was the flavor king of his time.
There can only be one Flavor King.
Oh
like
yeah.
Highlander,
Guy Fieri
and you-
sat up when that was said. It was like, call my lawyers.
Well, we were talking about
Yeah.
Dylan because Dylan is the Flavor King.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I guess they're just tossing that title around.
Yeah.
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 Loses all meaning. Linda made her festive revival, which was a lemon cake, followed by a chocolate chili and ginger cake, followed by a teeny tiny pineapple upside down cake, and choux pastry swans on the outside.
So
Hit me.
this is the moment where I get what you mean when this started out. Because, see, everyone else kind of did like, we're doing that, but we're making it Christmas themed. And I was like, oh, this works. It makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why they asked to do this. It makes sense. Then they pulled this thing out. I was like, nah, what are you doing here? This is just a cake.
I could tentatively see the shoe, because the shoe pastry, she made little swans out of them. And I'm like, look, you put a bunch of swans on something, sure. Christmas,
Yeah,
okay.
Nutcracker. Yeah,
Nutcracker,
you're
sure.
Nutcracker adjacent.
I think that's one of the 12 days of Christmas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Partridge in a Pear Tree.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it.
two-
That's
yeah,
the song.
Yeah, swans.
No, but I mean, that's
swanning.
one of them is
Yeah.
like, I don't know, 6 swans
right,
swanning
right.
or whatever.
Swans swinging.
Six
Swans
swans
are
are
swinging.
swinging.
Swinger swans.
5 golden. Whatever. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
right.
like singing it is going to help, but I'm just going to make it
No,
up.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, there's some swans in there.
So that, I hear you.
Swans a swimming.
Wow, there it
Oh,
is. Thank you, Val.
Thank you.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying, but to me, the swans, I was like, I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
I'll give it a pass.
You know what wasn't swimming? That frosting.
Wait, what problem do you have with their frosting?
Oh, it was very light. You can kind of still
Yeah,
see some
yeah,
of the cake.
yeah.
It made me feel good, though, too, because I made that cake, grief cake, and I was like, damn, I can't get this shit right. They make
Yeah,
it so
yeah.
hard. And then I saw that. I was like, oh, how did I?
Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
intentional style, is to go like naked cake or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know Christina's Tosi leaves it butt naked
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
side. 'Cause
completely
she's
bare.
like, people use the frosting to hide their mistakes. She said,
Yeah.
look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
these.
Which is accurate.
And she looked right at George in his eye.
She's like, I know what's underneath all that.
Yeah.
Linda they asked, what are you redeeming? And she was like, oh, there's lots. I was really spoiled for choice, which I think is funny. Linda's having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Pineapple upside down cake because she messed up a pineapple fritter in her season, and the shoe buns because during pastry week in her season, they asked her to make eclairs and she basically made churros. So they said she redeemed herself with the shoe right away. The design was simple, could be neater. The lemon cake, delicious. The chocolate chili cake was drier, but still good. And the pineapple upside down cake was also delicious. So great job to Linda. Amelia finally made her pistachio and orange redemption cake with pistachio, orange, chocolate ganache, and a Swiss meringue buttercream. She is redeeming her chocolate biscuit bars, underbaked pistachio biscuit with like melty nougat covered in ugly chocolate. She poured in her cream for the ganache. She was like, I think this is going to be too hot. And it was. Her buttercream was kind of sagging, but they said they loved the look of it. Piping, not great. She quipped, every cake has a front and back, which I haven't heard that adage, but I do think is true. Tasted beautiful. Balance is good. Terrific. Also redeemed. Okay. So that is the end of the Showstopper Challenge. I thought the cakes looked good. I said this up top, but it's like I really didn't have faith in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because I got the feeling that a lot of them were rusty.
Sure.
And they were all kind of pulling various levels of a George.
Oh, yeah.
They all looked great.
Yeah. They cleaned it up and like, I wonder, they did this redemption thing, and obviously I'm pro redemption, and I guess it's because it's it's also so open ended. It's like any Showstopper. I'm almost like hearing some of the things that they did fail at to begin with. I'm like, I wonder if some of them hit it head on, or some were like, well, this is kind of the same thing. and
Oh,
then I'm
sure,
gonna, like,
yeah.
Make it the good version of what
Right.
I definitely know I can do.
I feel like that happens on the classical cooking shows a lot more often, where it's like, oh, I messed up mac and cheese, so I'm going to make you this other dish that is inspired by mac and cheese, but it doesn't prove that you can make a good mac and
Yeah.
cheese. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You didn't refute that history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just played with the themes a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, in the discussion, they said that in line for Star Baker this episode were Sophie, okay, I only watched this once, so people are going to write in and complain. I don't care. Sophie, Dan, Carol, and Linda. They made a joke about George being in line for Star Baker. I think that was a joke.
Yeah.
They kind of said it in a sarcastic cadence. They're like, and George popped in there, right? And they're like, haha, yeah,
Oh,
sure.
yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think that
Yeah,
counts.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
going to
so.
award a point there. And they didn't talk about Amelia at all. So
Yeah,
I'm like, poor
yes.
Amelia.
My poor Bedelia.
Not even close. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
They announced that the Star Baker is Sophie. And Prue said, this time I won't tweet it. So okay, because neither of you have watched past episodes, right? Or past seasons.
No.
This isn't.
Uh-oh.
what were you
No,
gonna
I
say?
haven't. Sorry, I was already anticipating where
Yeah,
this is going.
this was in reference to the fact that there was famously a season wherein Prue accidentally tweeted the winner before the finale aired. So she spoiled it for the entire world. and it was Sophie's season.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh, that's
How
so
did she
funny.
just? She just was like, and congratulations to Sophie.
I think so. I don't remember the full context. I remember it happening. I don't remember what the tweet was. I don't even think it was that. I think it was like in passing. She just kind of let it slip at like, and the winner Sophie. You know what I mean?
Great.
And everyone's
it.
like, wait, what do you mean?
Take her
It's
phone
like,
away.
Yeah, take her phone away. Yeah, I was more focused on what was the thing Prue said where, like earlier this episode, where it was like I will stuff it in my mouth or something. She said something very horny. I was like, what's going on, Prue?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
She liked something or something. Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of forget.
I feel like in taking my notes of this show, anytime I hear something horny, I kind of gloss over. I'm like, yeah, horny. What else? Next.
Yeah. Y'all can't stop.
They were talking about like
Right.
sitting on laps, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with like sexy Santa, Paul Hollywood, and I was like, okay, yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
it. Next.
Yeah,
Right.
and,
We
then,
got
and
it.
then the last horny thing I'll point out was Noel being like, it was like, yeah, when he was like, you should be the judge. He was like, yeah, we'll give handshakes, massages, and facials.
That's right.
And he did facials in a way to be like, you
Yeah.
know, what I mean, come.
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
Facials.
They push the limits.
Yeah.
They really do.
They go for it.
I would hate to be a BBC. What's it called?
Oh.
Not S&P.
Yeah, S&P,
Right.
like standards
Standards and practices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
S&P.
that one of those.
I feel like they don't really have one. Like it feels like
No, they have to because the BBC is public, so
Oh, yeah,
people
it's
write
true.
in and they're like,
This is Channel 4, though. This isn't BBC.
That's true, but the show started on BBC, and I would imagine. Well, I don't think Channel 4 has no S&P. I think every network has S&P.
Yeah, it just feels like European and British TV are less scared of like
Yeah, bodies.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like, look, the kids are going to learn
Oh,
about it
sure.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as puritanical.
You think your son with his little iPhone doesn't know what a facial is? Get real.
Yeah. That's my favorite genre. And as much I typically hate child shaming videos on TikTok because I'm like, oh, it's real fucked up. But there is I let it pass when it is dad finds son's porn searches and reads them.
Oh, my
That's a
God, I
category.
did
I've
not-
never
yeah,
seen
yeah,
any
that's
of these.
tough.
Yeah,
That's
like it
tough.
was like wild because I think it was like the first search was like boobies, and then it was breast, and it was Latinas, and
Ah.
then cream pie compilation. I was
Whoa.
like,
Wow.
that's a jump. That's
That
like,
feels
is
like
an
he was
evolution.
scrolling and he got to breast, scrolled, saw the word Latino, was like, what's that? Googled that, and then scrolled down from there and then saw whatever phrase was there and was like, I got to find out what cream pie is.
I'm a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
fan of Great British Bake Off.
Cream pie's got to be good.
Cream Pie Week on British Bake Off.
The episode ends on a choir singing in Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I just wrote that with a question mark.
Well,
Okay.
so it was so funny because I was explaining to him that we're watching the
Last
the
year's.
last
Yeah,
year's
yeah.
and all that. And
So this is pre-Russia invading Ukraine. This is not for a
No,
charity
I think
case.
I think it's right when Russia.
Oh, it's right when it happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay,
I was
never
like,
mind.
I was
Okay.
like, oh, they did that on purpose. They're
Oh,
like,
okay.
we're standing with you, Zelensky.
Okay.
There's also another dimension to that which I forgot to put in my notes, which is that Carol of the Bells originally is Ukrainian.
Oh, really?
Whoa, did not
cool.
know that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Christmas songs. I like
Historic.
the dark
Yeah,
goth
yeah.
ones. Ding dong, ding dong.
I just learned that a lot of the classic American Christmas songs, you know, your Holly Jolly Christmas and all that, a lot of them are written by Jewish people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I forget which comic. I feel bad because I do want to shout. Oh, it's Brent Weinbach. He does a joke about how there needs to be Jewish Christmas carols, and he was like, you can, or he was like, you can make any Christmas carol Jewish by singing it in a different tune, and he sings it, and it comes out just like a song you'd hear like at a temple.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
It's very funny.
That's a good bit.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
bit. It might be online. It might
I'll
not
I'll
be.
make the argument. I'm far from the first person to have said this, but I do think we need more modern Christmas carols because a lot of
Oh, yeah.
if you tune into the Christmas station right now and you hear your Holly Jolly Christmases and stuff, they're all from the same time period.
Yeah, here's the
Oh,
thing.
interesting.
There's some that I get. Like yeah, Mariah Carey, it's a banger. Wham, I know,
Well,
people.
those
hit-
are the later ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you mean like
even
brand
well,
new?
if I may
like,
point you to
Here we go.
Mistletoe by Justin Bieber.
Great. No,
It's
I
great.
agree. Okay,
Yeah,
here's what it is that like between, I guess, like the 50s and 60s, we came out with your Frosty the Snowman, your Christmas song, your
Wow.
Holly Jolly Christmas, all of those. They all sound like they could be sung by Nat King Cole or like Dean Martin. Do you know what I mean? That's like 80%. And then every decade after that, we got like 1 or 2. So the 80s, we got Wham! Last Christmas.
Yeah.
90s, we got Mariah Carey's entire album. 2000s, we got Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
But that's still, it's like the bulk of it is still kind of stuck in the 50s and 60s. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah. They probably had some sort of government program that was like, we gotta make them pay attention to this instead of what's going on.
A government
And
subsidy.
Then, yeah, and then and it worked.
Okay, relating this back to food, I also learned this recently. Do you know why there were no Thai restaurants in America prior to like 2000?
Ooh, why?
I know there's something. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
there
don't.
was a big Thai governmental program to be like, we're going to export our cuisine and like endear people to Thailand. And so they like trained a bunch of chefs. That was when they decided pad thai is our national dish. It happened like in the
wow.
last 30 years.
Damn, that's
Yes.
why.
Where they're
Okay.
like, go out and cook this in other countries. And they paid for a bunch of chefs to live in a bunch of different countries. And that's why when you think of like your childhood, you're like, I guess there was a Thai restaurant. They also serve Vietnamese food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's like
Sure.
there's a Thai restaurant on every corner. It's because like there was literally a concerted government effort to like export Thai food.
Amazing. Yeah, and I do feel like because they have the clear menu where it's like just give them enough that they can handle. Like
Yes,
it's like
yeah.
it's like let's give them the palatable stuff, and then they won't have to wrap their brain around like
Right.
the actual huge cuisine
Yeah.
or whatever.
Because when you go to Thai Town here in LA,
Sure.
there's like
can do a
real
lot
ass. I have an Asian face, and I've walked into a Thai restaurant and been like, I'll take it spicy. And they're like, no.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no.
Well, we can't give that to you.
Yeah,
I
there's
couldn't.
there's one. I think it's called Angry Baby or something in New York.
Love that.
Where like the people who told me to go there were bragging about like how many times they had to go before they finally let them try the spicy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Because usually I like when they try and bug, I was like, oh, I'm Nigerian. They usually are like, okay,
Yeah, you get a pass.
yeah, but sometimes they're like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah, take your pepper stew and get out of here.
yeah. Your little
It's
Pepe
child's
soup.
play, yeah.
Your foo-foo.
Yeah, the fufu negates the spice. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they're like, we don't
Yeah,
have that
they're like,
shit.
Yeah,
no,
It's
no
just bird's eye
equivalent.
chili.
Yeah.
We eat a whole bird's eye chili, raw.
Yeah, prepare to die.
Anyway, okay, yeah, they ended in a Ukrainian montage that looked beautiful. I did clock that they showed the choir like in daytime, and then when they all did their talking heads, they were nighttime. I was like, oh, they just stayed out and partied all night.
Oh yeah.
Or the sun set very quickly, but
Yeah, it was a long carol.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
were singing for 3
they let the
hours.
choir do a full
yeah,
set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the original.
They kept
Ukrainian
yelling
version.
encore.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the end of the episode, just want to also point out Val caught that Damien Eggs and Victoria Onions both worked on the Christmas special. So
Oh,
Yes.
keeping the crew employed.
Yeah,
I you know, they were trying to set him up, but I'd like to believe Damien Eggs is polyamorous.
Okay, give me your entire headcanon for Damien Eggs.
He's just like a sexy, you know, kind
Ooh.
of like camera guy, a little
Ooh.
muscular. He has big forearms,
Okay.
hairy forearms,
Yeah.
mutton chops, and he's just
Whoa.
hanging
Mutton
out-
chops.
Mutton chops, yeah.
That's a visual. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's polyamorous because he doesn't want to keep all his eggs in one basket.
Whoa.
You just flipped it from okay, my headcanon was that he was embarrassed to be a Mr. Eggs. And you just turned it into like the Fonz where he's like Eggs, Damien Eggs.
Yeah,
Do you know
oh,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh,
Like he
yeah.
leads with it.
Oh yeah.
Wow. When you put it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Mhm.
I can see it. He's a Rolling Stone.
All right, let's do our points breakdown for this week. As a reminder, we're using the same rules that we used for the regular season, which you can find on our Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. Last week, you're coming in iffy with a half point for Amelia having shaky hands. This
Yes.
week, the technical challenge, 1.5 points in first place was Sophie. Second place with 1 point is Dan. Third place with a half point is Amelia. In line for Starbaker, getting 1 point apiece. We'll give it to Sophie, Dan, Carol, and Linda. That's it. The Starbaker was Sophie. She gets 2 points. And sure, George gets a half point for starting over. So at the end of this week, Iffy, you gain 1.5 points.
All right.
I gain 5.5
What
points.
the hell?
Whoa.
Sierra, you gain 2.5 points. So currently, here's where we're at for Great British Bake Off holidays. And these scores will carry over into New Year's next
All
week.
right,
So
yeah.
it'll be point totals at the end of both episodes. Right now, Iffy, we had your half point. You are in last place with 2 points.
Ouch.
It's okay. There's still a lot of show to happen. Sierra, you're in the middle with 2.5 points. I'm currently in the lead with 5.5 points, which makes me that much closer to a winner's snack, as we have decided the prize will
Yeah,
be.
yes.
Folks, if you like the show, please tell your friends, rate us and review us, and you can contribute to the show directly at MaximumFun.org/join. Show off your holiday bakes. We want to see what you're making at your Christmas parties. Tag us at
Yes.
TV Chef Fantasy League or send us an email, chef@MaximumFun.org. For full episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. We just clarified this. They're not unedited. We're actually splicing together a bunch of different recording sessions, but you can see our faces on YouTube. Thanks again to my co-hosts Sierra Kato and Ifi Wadiway. We'll be back next week with New Year's Part 1. See you then.
See you then.
TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.